Hey everyone, this is Hafizullah Masoudi and you're watching from Code with Hafiz. Welcome to the second video of the series on creating an online courses platform with Laravel Jetstream Inertia plus Vue. So in our previous video, we successfully installed a fresh Laravel project with Jetstream Inertia plus Vue. Now in this video, I will show you how you can create a nice responsive sidebar using Tailwind CSS and Vue.js. Now before everything else, we need to install Font Awesome first of all in our application to be able to use icons. So what I will do is let's open a new tab in the browser and let's search for Font Awesome download. Now in here, let's go to this first link, so let's click on it. So in here you can see we can download it for our web application or for the desktop application. So what we need to do is we need to download the free version. So let's click on this free for web and you can see it is being downloaded. So Font Awesome has been downloaded successfully. Now what I will do is I will copy this zip file to our project directory. So for that reason I need a terminal, and in here let's copy, so cp, and the file is in my downloads, so by the name of Font Awesome, and I wanna copy it to the desktop. So let's say desktop online courses and then public folder. So let's press enter and you can see it has been copied. So I will exit this one and open the terminal where my project is open. So in here, if I open it in Code or Visual Studio Code, and in here if we check out the public, you can see now we have Font Awesome. So we need to extract it. Now I will open the project in the Explorer. So for that, Nautilus and then dot, and in here let's go to public, and now let's extract it. So I will extract it in the same directory and it has been completed successfully. So now we can remove file from here and let's rename this folder to Font Awesome only. So we want to link it in our blade. So let's press enter now and let's get back to Visual Studio Code. So to link the Font Awesome, let's go to resources, views, and let's open app.blade. So we will import it as a link in our head section. So in here let's press enter, and now let's create a link. So it will be a style sheet, and let's also declare a type for it. So let's say type, and it will be text/css. And for the href, we want to use our asset. So let's say double curly braces, and in here let's say asset, and we want to go to the Font Awesome and css/all.css like this. Now this being done, if I save it and run the application in the browser, so it is already running. So let's log into the system first and see if it is working or not. And let's also open our console or inspect element to see if we have any kind of errors or not. So let's log in as admin. As you already have watched the previous video, we have created this account. So the password is password. And if we log in, you can see we don't have any errors. So this means that our fonts are working just fine. Now let's start building the sidebar. Well, before that, let's customize some of the elements that we already have here. For example, this navbar here and also this dashboard. So let's get back to Visual Studio Code and let's open the sidebar. Now we can close this app.blade file because we don't need it anymore. Now let's go to JS and let's first of all edit the navbar or the top navigation bar. So let's go to the layouts and let's open app layout.view. So this is where our navbar is located. So if we scroll down a little bit, let me close the sidebar. You can see in here we have this navbar or nav element with the styling of Tailwind CSS. Now let's customize it a little bit. So let's leave the background white, but I want to be the navbar fixed. So let's say fixed, and let's say top should be 0, and let's also declare a z-index of 50, and the width should be full. And after this we have the background white and the border for the bottom, and let's also declare some other styling here. So I want to declare a dark theme. So let's say background should be gray, and then let's say hyphen 800, and let's also say dark colon border, and it should be also gray, let's say around 700. Now because my system is in dark theme, so if we check out our application, now we have a dark navigation bar. Now let's also fix this link here, because now it looks black and it's not readable. So let's get back to Visual Studio Code, and if you scroll down, we have this dashboard here, and the link that we want to edit is, for example, this nav link. So we have some stylings for this one, and if we go to the nav link, so if I hold Control and click on it, it will open the navigation or the nav link file. So in here we can declare some stylings. So we wanna declare it whenever it is active or not. So for example, let's click here, and let's say while it is dark, we want the text to be white. So let's save it, and if we get back to the browser, now you can see it is being white. So it is active, so it's just working. And if we go to the profile, it is black again, or grayed a little bit. So let's fix this one too. So in here, let's say in dark mode, we want the text to be white like this. So if I save it, now it's working just fine, so you can see. And let's also declare a hover effect for it while we are in dark mode. So in here, let's say dark colon hover, and then colon, we want the text to be white like this. So in here, let's also declare it. Now we can copy this one. So let's copy it and let's paste it here. So now if we hover over it, so let me go to the profile, and if we hover, now you can see it is working just fine. So if we click on it, now it is being highlighted. Now let's fix the dashboard. And one thing more I remembered, we didn't change the title of the application. So let's get back to Visual Studio Code, and let's get back to our app.blade. So in here we need to change this title. So let's remove this code from here, and let's also leave the inertia, or let's leave it like this. And instead of Laravel, what we can do is we can say online courses like this. So if we get back and let's refresh, well, it's not working. Well, let's remove the whole code. So let's get back to Visual Studio Code, and let's remove this extra code from here and leave it like this. And now let's open our dashboard. So let's go to resources, JS, pages, dashboard, and in here we have this title. So dashboard is alright. And for the browser, if we refresh now, it is still not showing our title. So let's get back to Visual Studio Code and open the .env file, and let's also change this app name. So let's remove it and let's put double quotation, and let's say online courses like this. Now we need to clear the cache. So let's get back to the terminal, and let's say php artisan config colon cache. And now if we get back to the browser, now you can see it has been changed. So our application has logged out because we have cleared the cache. So let's log back in. Password is password, and now it is working just fine. So let's remove this welcome component from our dashboard. So let's get back to the Visual Studio Code. We can close this file, and instead of welcome here, let's write a message. So let's put an h1, and let's say online courses platform, for example, and let's also put another h1. So let's say welcome to online courses platform. And for this one, let's also declare some styling. So I will close the sidebar, and let's say class, and let's say empty should be, or margin top should be 8, text should be 2XL, font should be medium, text should be gray 900. Now if we get back to the browser, well, this looks fine, but we need to make some changes to this code also, and for that we can add some padding. So let's get back to Visual Studio Code and let's add the padding to, for example, let's say this div. So in here let's say padding should be 6, and if we check it out, now it looks much better. So for the header here, we don't have it because our navbar is fixed, so we can fix this one too. So let's get back to the Visual Studio Code, and before fixing the header, let's put a paragraph here, and for this one we can copy some of the classes from here. So let's copy this and let's paste it here like this, but instead of text gray 900, let's say 500, and let's say leading should be relaxed, and we don't need the font medium, and text 2XL. So let's remove it and let's put some lorem ipsum here like this. Now let's fix the header. So for that we need to go to app layout, because in here we have the banner, as you can see, or this is not the one that we wanna edit. So if we scroll down, well, let's close this navbar for now, and if we scroll down, and yeah, this is the header part. So what we can do is we can bring this one out from here. So let's cut it, or let's leave it. Let's bring it inside the main like this. So if I save it now, get back to the browser and let's refresh, we are still not getting it. So let's declare some styling for the main. Now for the main, let's say class, and we want to declare minimum height for it, which will be screen height like this, and let's also declare some padding of top, for example 16. And if I save this now, let's get back to the browser, and now you can see our header is working just fine. So if you go to the profile, and you can see it is showing profile, and if you go to dashboard, it is showing dashboard. Now let's design the sidebar. So let's get back to our code, and we want to design it after the navbar and before the main content. So in here let's create an aside element, and for this one let's give it an ID, for example logo sidebar, or let's just make it a sidebar. And inside here, or let's also declare some classes for it. So let's say class, and because we will be handling the sidebar close and open using Vue.js, so let's bind this class attribute to Vue instance, and let's write it as a string like this. And in here let's say it should be fixed, and top should be 0, left should be also 0, z index should be, let's say 40, which should be 64, and height should be screen, and let's say padding top should be 20, and let's also declare some transition. So transition, and let's say hyphen transform, so like this, and let's declare some styling for the small screens. So sm colon translate, and we wanna translate the x to 0, and let's say background should be white, and border right, we wanna have a border right, and let's say border gray should be 200, and let's also declare some dark styling. So let's say dark bg should be gray 800, and let's say dark border should be gray, let's say 700. And for the close and open, let's declare $ curly braces, and in here we will check for an object, so exclamation mark, because we want to check if it is false. So let's say showing sidebar. So if the showing sidebar is false, we wanna minus translate. So let's say minus translate -x -full, and if it is true, we wanna have an empty string like this. Now let's also declare, for example, an area label attribute. So let's say area label attribute, and in here let's say sidebar like this. Now inside our sidebar or a side element, we will have a div with a class of height full and another class of padding x3 and another class of padding bottom 4 and another class of overflow y should be auto and another class of background white and another class of dark, let's say bg gray 800. And inside this div, let's create a UL. So for this UL, let's also declare some classes. So let's say space -y should be 2 and font should be medium like this. And inside here, let's create an li, so it will have also some classes. Or let's leave the li. We don't want to add classes to the li. Instead, let's add it to the anchor tag. So let's create an anchor tag here, and for the href, let's put an hash for now, and let's press enter here. So for this one, let's say class, and let's also bind it to view object or instance. So in here we will display it flex, and let's also grab it as a string like this. So flex, and items should be center, and padding should be 2, and margin bottom should be 1, and text, let's say gray, should be 900, and let's make it rounded. So rounded like this, and rounded should be LG, and let's say dark should be text white, and in hover we want a background to be gray 100, and in dark hover, let's say background should be gray 700, and we also want to group it like this. So we have binded it to view instance, but we will not use it for now. So let's declare an I tag here, and for this one let's declare a class. So it will be for dash dashboard for now, and in here for example, let's create a span tag. So let me declare it a span tag, and let's say dashboard like this. So let's also declare some margin from the sides. So let's say class, and it should be ms3. So if we save this now and get back to the browser, so now you can see we have our nice sidebar, but our content is not showing. And the reason for that is we need to calculate the width of the sidebar with the width of the content. So let's get back to Visual Studio Code, and to do this we need to grab the main element inside a div with a class of sm margin left to 64, which is the width of our sidebar. So let's press enter here, and let's bring the main content like this. So if I save it now, get back to the browser, now you can see it is showing alright. Now the next part is to create the object to close and open this sidebar whenever we are in small screens. So for that reason, let's bring our script tags in here. So let's say script, and let's export default. So let's say default curly braces, and in here let's return our data property. So let's say return curly braces, and we have showing sidebar. So let's say showing sidebar, and this one should be false by default. And one thing more, we also wanna add an overlay for our small screens. So in here let's say overlay like this, and we also need to create the overlay. So let's press enter here, and let's create a div with the ID of overlay, and for this one we will have some classes. So let's say class, and Well, we don't want to design it here. Let's design it in our CSS file. So we just want to check for the overlay. So let's say v-f, and first of all let's say in here overlay and at click. So let's also assign some at click event to this. So we want to say if showing sidebar is true, then make it false. So let's say we want to make this one equal to false showing sidebar. So what this will do is, if it is false, it will make it true, or if it is true, it will make it false. So it is it is working like a mirror. So let's put a semicolon here, and let's do the same for the overlay. So let's say overlay should equal to false overlay, like this. Now this being done, we also need to design this overlay. So let's get back to the sidebar and let's go to CSS app.css, and then here let's press enter. So let's target hash overlay curly braces, and let's declare some position for it, which will be fixed, and let's also declare a width for it 100%, height for it 100%, and top should be 0. So let's make this one 0, and let's say left should be 0, and let's say right should be 0, and we also want a bottom to be 0. And let's also declare a background color for it. So background color, and let's make it RGBA. So 0.0 or comma 0 comma 0.5 for the alpha channel. And we also want to declare a z index. So let's make this one 2. And for the cursor, let's say cursor should be a pointer, like this. And for the small screens, well, we only want to show the overlay whenever we are on small screens. So let's say hash, or let's call media query. So at media screen and min width. So let's say min width, and we want to check for the 640 pixels, like this, and curly braces. So we want to target the overlay, and for this one we want to say display should be none, like this. So let's get back to our app layout, and now we want to create a button for the closing and opening the sidebar. So we can create that one, for example, inside our navbar, and we already have a button. So if we check out the browser, and let's refresh here to get rid of the warnings, and if I turn on the mobile view, you can see we have it here. So this one will open this. So we want to create a close button, same like this, for our sidebar to close and open it. So let's get back to Visual Studio Code, and in here we need to find that button. So let's scroll down here, and yeah, and if we scroll down a little bit more, we will find that button. So this is the button. Now we can duplicate this one. We can bring it with the icon or logo. So let's copy only the button. So let's copy it, and we wanna put it besides the logo. So yeah, this is the profile photo URL. Now let's find this logo. So let's inspect it, and yeah, we have this logo item. So in here let's search for logo, and let's search the next one, and next one, and yeah, this is our logo. So let's paste the button here, and let's indent it a little bit to have clean code, like this. Or yeah, it is alright. Let's indent this one, and instead of showing navigation, what we want to check here is for showing sidebar. So let's say showing sidebar. Now we have showing sidebar like this. So if I save it now, get back to the browser, and now you can see we have this, and now you can see it is working just fine. So you can see it is showing the navbar, and it is doing it like this. Now this one is not showing the overlay, and that is because in here we also wanna make the overlay true. So let's put a semicolon here and let's say overlay should equal to exclamation mark overlay, like this. So if I save it now and let's refresh, so now if I click on it, now you can see it is showing overlay, and if we click on the overlay, it is closing the sidebar. Now this is working as we expect it to be. Now let's remove this logo from here, or let's declare some margin for it. Now let's don't remove it in case we need it in the future. So for this link, yeah, let's declare a class and let's say margin left should be 5 for example, and yeah, now it looks much better. So if you click on it, it is working just fine. Now the final thing for this video is to create a footer. So let's get back to Visual Studio Code and let's just scroll down and let me close the search or find. So in our app.layout, we want to create the footer in here in our main section, or we can bring one from a website. So let's search for Tailwind CSS footer and let's click on this one, and in here we can search or browse through some footer examples. For example, you can see this one is a footer and this one also. So let's copy, for example, this one. So let's copy the code from here and let's get back to our code and let's paste it after the main element like this. So if I save it now, get back to the browser and let's go to the project tab. So now we have this footer. Now let's remove the extra padding, and we don't want the borders to be rounded, and let's also remove some of the content from here. So for example, for this footer rounded LG, let's remove this rounded LG and let's find the padding or the margin. So we have this M-4, so let's remove it, and now it looks much better. So now let's remove this icon from here and let's customize the other content. So now what we can do is we can remove this image from here like this, and let's also remove this link because we don't need it. And instead of flow byte, let's say online. So online courses like this, and let's leave these other links for now. So for the copyright, let's also put a hash here, and in here let's say, for example, online courses team, and all rights reserved. And instead of getting the air like this, let's put double curly braces, and in here we will use JavaScript. So let's say new date parenthesis, and then let's say dot get full air parenthesis like this. So if I save it now, get back to the browser, now you can see we have a nice footer. So one thing more that I notice is it is showing the sidebar button when we are in a large screen. So what we can do is we can hide this one using CSS. So let's get back to the Visual Studio Code and we can copy the code from that other button. So if we find the button again, now let's find it. So yeah, this is the button. So you can see for small screens it is hidden. So let's copy this, and now we will paste this one for the other button. So let's find the button, and where did we paste it? So yeah, this is the button. Now for this one, let's paste the code at the very end in our classes. So now it will not show, as you can see, and if we change back to the mobile view, now it will show the button for us. So everything is working just fine, and now you can see also that we have a nice fixed or sticky navbar at the very top. Now this being done, it was all about this video. So I hope you enjoyed watching the video and found it useful. If so, don't forget to hit the like button and leave a nice comment too. And if you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe too if you want more videos like this. Now thanks for watching, and I beg you farewell. Have a nice day.